Hey, this looks like somebody's trying to make dinner. But this looks like all the hard, healthy rabbit food stuff. Let's see if we can make it better together. Well, where do we start? Well, the first thing is a sharp knife. We're definitely going to want one of these. And all these lovely ingredients are all laid out. How nice. Put this down right there. Get the burner going. You're going to want your pan to be hot. Not super hot, but hot. And I like cooking in cast iron because if you got to hit somebody, you don't want to leave a dent. You want to just let them know they've been kissed. Now, we're going to start off with 4 skinless carrots. They're a little stringy. I used to have rainbow carrots, but somebody thought it'd be funny to feed the funny colored ones to my horse. Now, you don't want to cut them too thin, and you don't want to saw back and forth like this. It's going to take all day. You kind of just line up and give it to them. And you just get it done. Ah! Stay still. Are you saying something? I swear I heard a small voice in the side of my head. It says, make them paper thinner. Well, some for you, some for me. Yeah. Good job, small voice.
Well, you know, sometimes I just like to stay hidden because, rude.
Yeah, that's not going to work either. Yeah, that's pretty much the carrot. Oh, nuts. I got to put it in the pan. Right. Oh. Perfect. It's going to need some butter. About, I think, 1.5 tablespoons. I just like doing it like that. Makes me feel like I'm doing something. Give that a little scrape. Ah, good job. It landed right in there. Otherwise, it was going to have to get another one. Oh. Let me see here. Oh, yes. The onion. Now, some people don't like cutting onions. And some people love to cut onions when other people don't like cutting onions. Now, if you ever have a roommate that you don't like, you could just throw some onions in the food processor and then leave for work. That's kind of a dick move. But... No.
Yeah.
We should do that tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay.
Da-da-da. Don't need that stuff. Don't need that stuff. And I definitely don't want the outside of my onion. So we'll just get right through the outside layer there. Get the paper going. Peel one of these off. Bullseye. This is the part that makes people cry. So if you're not sure what part to use, oh, yeah, that's the part that makes people cry. And if you're not sure what part to use, definitely go for that. It's also the tastiest part of the onion. Some people slice them like that, and some people slice them like that. But when you look at your onion slices, they're pretty much the stinking same. Whoops, almost got myself. Those aren't going to grow back. I only pretend to be Deadpool, so don't be that guy. If the onion thing starts happening to you, you get yourself a bowl of cold water nearby, and you can either rinse your onions or your knife or both, and that could help you. I read a book on the internet, and the internet, they talk about things like, oh, well, you could just boil some water or have something steaming. Maybe that could help.
Or look at something green. You know,
That's not going to help your roommate that wakes up to the onions in the food processor.
No, it's not.
Now, if you cut all your onions the same way, they're easy to pick up. And here, we like a lot of onions. It's almost like somebody can't see, and they smell more than they see. And
Well, your pan doesn't look very hot.
it doesn't feel very hot either.
We might have to turn that up to, like, hellfire.
I hear it sizzling.
Ooh, I love that sound.
Oh, let's see here. Nope. It's not going to be this. It's not going to be this. Mystery ingredient. Oh, this is kale. And if anybody's never had kale before, let me tell you, don't. But if you're going to have to, it's pretty easy to hide it with a bunch of other things. That's why we're putting it in this stuff. Now, when I was at the store, I really wanted dinosaur kale because this is pretty much all stock. And who wants to buy all that stuff? Not me. Then you have to kind of make it smaller. And this really sucks too. I think there's a trick. It's got a special word. I forget what it's called, but it means there's a special trick, but in French.
It's chiffonade.
Chiffonade. That's right. That's like across the hallway from another meeting that's also anonymous. Is it for the chefs that are trying to quit being French chefs anymore? What do they do there? Anyway, because this isn't very good TV, and I'm not very much of an honest cook, I cheated, and I made some in advance in the bowl, because chopping vegetables is exciting stuff. I would just throw that in there for some color. Now it looks like something's starting to happen. This is lovely stuff. It's spinach. Did I mention how awesome kale was? Well, let me tell you about spinach. Now, these things are really hard to roll up. So just think of anything else that's green that might need to be rolled up. And you just kind of get it into a tight little ball like this. Kind of, yeah. Cut that part off because we don't need them. And then you just slice these things up about I don't know. Not too thick. You want them so small they're invisible. They pop out as color, but not so big that you taste them when you bite something. Now I throw that in there. Gotta stir it a little bit so it looks like something's starting to happen. Definitely make sure the carrots stay on the bottom though. Give that a bang. Let it know you're talking to it. Ah, what's next? What's next? Oh, right, these joints. Now, I would say that you need a handful of these, but nobody measures with a handful. You're gonna need about a fisting worth. That's right. That's about like that. You know, because you're really fisting in there and you want to be, well, these things are tasty. People like these. And if you don't like these, well, you should try the canned peas. Those are awesome. They smell like old lady pants and wet dog in the beach on a nice hot car ride. And you just, I don't know, I just make them smaller about like this. I don't try real hard because I don't mind having these. But since it's going in stir fry, rice something a la mode with no ice cream, then you got to make them small enough so they're hard to pick up with chopsticks. That one's too big. The rest are probably okay. I'll just throw those in the pan. If a little spills out, that's okay. You can prep these in advance. Now, you got to ask yourself, who in the world does that? Who's going to prep all these things in all these little bowls and then have it all ready? That's like making 30 dishes. Nobody's going to want to do that. Ah, that's starting to look a little dry in there. I'm going to turn that down just a little bit and add some more lube. Definitely another, yeah, sure, that's another tablespoon of butter. Peel the paper off that, because that's not going to be good. Ah, get that monster in there. Boom.
Oh, don't forget about the pinch of salt.
Oh, yeah, the pinch of salt. This is great salt. This is Celtic sea salt, gray Celtic sea salt, made by little old gray Celtic men. Apparently, it's got a smoky flavor of some mysterious smoky flavor kind. But it comes in a can like this and it's kind of wet. It's not very good for grinding or anything else that you might think of salts for. It's like bath salts, but anyway, how much should I put in there? Small voice.
Oh, a pinch.
Pink or purple? I got it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Don't forget to stir it. Oh, and pepper too.
Get you one of these grinders. Very satisfying. A lot of action takes place, but not a lot comes out. I think that brings me to mystery ingredients. Oh, right. I forgot the rest of my spinach. Goodbye, kids. Keep the spanking spoon handy in case somebody's going to come into the kitchen and help you. All these little green things, as they start to saute or whatever this is, they get smaller, and that makes them easier to hide. And nobody's going to know what kind of lettuce you've got in here if you don't tell them. So don't. Let's see here. What comes next? I think mushrooms. No, tomatoes. Bell peppers. Garlic. Okay. So, fast note about bell peppers. We're going to color code them. Yellow, orange, red. They're all born green. The yellow one will not turn orange, will not turn red. They are all their own kind of ripe. It's sort of like saying, oh, that's a Chihuahua. Oh, that's a St. Bernard. Well, if you wait long enough, the Chihuahua is not going to turn into a St. Bernard. It can't happen. Yellow will not turn orange. Orange will not turn yellow, or red. It won't. Oh, I've never cut one of these like this before. I saw it on TV. I'm already deciding I don't like it. And they did this cute little trick around the outside. Oh. Oh. Now you can't see what you're doing. Who in the hell does this? TV guys. Well, okay, it was Gordon Ramsay, but I'm not Gordon Ramsay. And if anybody doesn't know who I am not Gordon Ramsay. But if anybody has seen Francis, you just leave a comment in the section down below where to find Francis, and I'll go looking for him because the grocery store was kind of a bust. If nobody cooks with these things, know that the red bell peppers are the sweet ones. But if you use lots of red bell peppers to give your dish lots of color, and then you've got people coming over that you don't care for, you can hide some rockets in there, and they're going to come from the Asian food market, and nobody will know.
Just a reminder, if you chop with the skin up, it's easier to cut. Especially if your knife is really sharp.
Everybody needs to have a small voice in their head to tell them when they're doing it wrong. And that's why you need to know where the Asian food market is for those little red rockets. And in case somebody nags you about whose turn it is to take out the trash, or pick up after yourself, or the mess you leave in the kitchen, you just forget about all that stuff. And just think, you're never going to have to do laundry again if you douse somebody else's very nicely folded laundry with itching powder. And you'll all know who that is because they're going to be the only one walking around town scratching their butt. I'm just saying that if anybody needs help finding that, I know a source. Oh yeah. Cutting through these things from the top is silly. Way better from the bottom. Now, if you're not good at chopping, you make your first ones thick and your second batch thin so they can all be variable sizes and get done at the same time. Well, not really, but it's more like mystery random. But there's a trick for that. It's when you get down to the end, you put a lid on it. And that helps everything catch up together without burning them. Why does all this stuff stick to my knife? All this mess all over the breadboard. Da, 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 da. Oh yeah. Breakfast, most important meal of the day. should have. So if you've got Colossus ringing in your ears, this is not good breakfast food. You need carbs in the morning time. And this is not carbs. We're going to pause this for a brief interruption. So instead of looking at me butcher this used to be very lovely bell pepper, we're going to take a look at our medley and see how it's doing. Follow me over here. Ah, that actually doesn't look terrible. Can you believe that it doesn't actually look terrible, even though it sort of looks like it's happening terrible? All right, continue. So if you don't know how to cook and you want your dinner to look like something special, you can take a long time doing it. However, if you've got an 8-year-old, they're probably not going to care how evenly sliced your perfect presentation is for those guys on television that pay like $200 a plate to sit down at a place to have 4 bites of food. That sounds like every 8-year-old's dream. I'm thinking maybe no. So, if you make your things a little random and it keeps your food interesting without getting too ridiculous about that. Let's see here. Ah, yes. I was told that mushrooms are a fine substitution for meat. Well, okay. Oh, just the tip. Yeah, so I like these nice, neat slices because those look like, yeah, I'll fix his wagon in a second. These look like mushroom slices so that you think that there's mushrooms in your food. But some people don't like mushrooms. You can turn them into other things and they don't look like mushrooms anymore. Follow me over here. Instead of those beautiful mushroom slices, it looks like something else is happening. Ah, that's a money shot. Now, mushrooms soak up a lot of stuff, so they're going to need another bit of lube. Get in there. Let that catch up. Oh, can't waste these. So, that brings us to, yes, this is a zucchini. Some people have never had these before because they know they're gross. They're gross because they get slimy. They get slimy because people don't do very well with them. But I just want you to know that if you find a slimy zucchini, just know that Domino had nothing to do with it. This one's not hers. That one stays somewhere else. I've never found that one in the kitchen. I think. Da, 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 da. Just like chopping wood. So if you cut them in half, this will make your cutting time faster. But if you cut them into quarters, it will help your cooking time. It also gives you more surface area of your food. That means you get more zucchini flavor. That sounds wonderful. However, since this is heart healthy with just a minimum amount of a stick of butter, then that gives you more surface area for your butter to stick to, in case you were interested in that. It does help them get tastier. When you get to the end and your fingers are kind of close, there's a trick where you bend your fingers back and follow your knuckle down like this. It all looks the same in a stew pot. We'll just heave that stuff right on in there. Boom. That's good enough. So now to finish our thing, as our stir fry is near completion, you need to have a fat grip of unpopped cherry tomatoes. We're going to take care of the popping right now. How do you do that? The same way that I do the zucchini at the end, right down the middle. With a sharp knife, oops, we're going to ruin that one. You just line it up and go for it. That one's a goner. And if you try and slice them, it squeezes all the guts out. And then they kind of look like they've been used in not a good way. So, after it gets a little slimy, they start sliding around. Then you're going to be trying to grow a new finger. And that's not fun. I've seen it. Nobody's ever done it. But they sure try. That one's a goner. That one's no good. So, you keep your knife sharp, and your tomatoes will slice nicely. Otherwise, just give them a little thugzilla, and that's it. Now, we're at the end, and we're going to need some garlic. But who has time for all that? They sell paste at the store, and then you know exactly how much you're getting when you're getting it. This one's brand new. It's still got the cap on it. That way you know it hasn't been tampered with. Because who would tamper with garlic? That's like ruining bacon. Drip, drip, drip. Not in the face. Drip, drip, drip. Drip, drip, drip. Drip, 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 drip. That feels like probably a couple of spoons of garlic. I could have measured it, but the spanking spoon is busy staying on guard to make sure nobody bothers me in the kitchen. I don't know why nobody bothers me in the kitchen. I haven't thrown anything at anybody in a while. Whoops, that one's a dead soldier. I was also told a long time ago, don't use cast iron on a glass top skillet or stove. Who's going to do that? I just use it all in one spot. That way I don't care what happens anymore. I used to, but now I don't. A little bit of old man Celtic sea salt. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, that was definitely purple, not pink. Little sneezer, a little more sneezer. That way nobody knows what you've done. When you look at this, it's hard to tell what it used to be. Now some people really like to look at their food and know what it was. And for that, good for them. However, I want my food to not quite look chewed up, but look ready to be chewed up. Not like something you take a picture of. That doesn't sound good to me at all. Now, we're getting near the end. And what I'm gonna do now is move myself around in the kitchen here momentarily. Whoops. God damn it. Almost slipped and busted my ass right there. Not my fault. So this is our lovely bit of rice, and I will cutscene right now. So the trick about basmati rice, or really any rice, is to soak it first. I gave this about a 5-minute head start, and you can see the water here. The camera doesn't give it credit for how cloudy it actually is, and that's all the starch and washed out bits and things like that that's on the rice that you don't want. So all I do is I put it in the colander that I got just for rice, hold it up here for a second, let all the water drain out because that's all the stuff you don't want. Give it a shake. Not so much a wiggle, otherwise it's going to fling water all over your kitchen. Oh, I can see it there at the bottom. As the water pours in there, you can see the texture. That cloudy bit's right there. That's actually the starch that makes your rice all funny. And then, if you've pre-measured your water, the pan's right there ready to go. You just take that bad boy there and dump it in there, and that is actually how I get excellent fluffy rice. To how that was made. But what I want to do is Hercules my way up in the air. Oof. Get my sludge in there. Curse my cast iron, because that's definitely making me think I've got a weenie arm. Anything extra stuck to the burner. Definitely don't want to glue that down. I'll throw the lid on that. Oh, it needs some more lube. There we go. Get that going. Put my lid on. Come on, get hot. Get hot. Come on. Play some Nelly. That's right. These things are wonderful. You whack the inside and they open. So just remember, whack them, they open. Yeah. Heart healthy cooking. This is pork, because I don't know anything about the neighbor's lost pet. But this is pork. I got it from the store. I promise, from the store. And you want to cook these whole. So that they don't melt. They get dried out and stuff like that, and that's all gross. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes their meat all dried out. I prepared them on a plate. That one actually is a dirty dish. We're not going to be needing that again. Now, I need pepper first. I put the pepper down so that I can see where I've been. A little more sneezer. Sneezer, sneezer, sneezer. And a purple pinch of the salt, so that some chunks land on all the pieces and they kind of melt and steam on their own. To get thin sliced meat, you go to the butcher shop, or my friend Pulverine. He's a smooth criminal. And then, with good heat and a warm pan cast iron, you get these little monsters over. And you can kind of tell when they're ready because the edge starts to whiten up. Now, if my mom, whoever she is, oh, that one's not ready. Wherever she is, she would never cook pork. And worse, she would make steaks. And if you don't know how to cook steaks, don't ever ask my mom because those things could be used for boot leather. And if not boot leather, well, she made a pizza once that the St. Bernard played with for a week because she baked it so hard that the St. Bernard played with it for a week. Hot pan, high heat. Meat room temperature, a little bit of butter because you need some lube. If you salt and pepper before you put them in the pan, you should be okay because there's already a bunch of flavors and stuff in there. But since this is heart healthy cooking, there's always room to add a little bit more. Wait. Yeah. No. Right. Yeah. That looks a little too pink. Squeeze it a little harder or it'll turn purple. Sing yourself a little song. Yeah, you flip them back over. See how they're doing. It's usually hotter in the middle. You can roll them around a little bit. No double stacking. It's pork. You gotta take your turns. Turn, turn, turn. When your meat gets ready to be done, if you squeeze the part of your hand, the meaty part right in here, then it gives you an idea. Rare, medium, medium well, because there's a muscle in there. So when you poke it with the tongs, and it's like, oh, I'm thunk, 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 thunk on the outside, you've ruined it. And in The King of the Hill, he would say, Dad, what happens if somebody wants their steak well done? And you say, well, then we just politely ask them to leave. So if you do it once, it could be an accident because you're a rookie. But if you do it more than once, then people aren't going to want to go to your house. They're going to make up stories like you're some kind of crazy cat lady, or if you're not a lady, you're still going to be a crazy cat lady. That's the color we're looking for. So this is actually one of those parts where you can hide all kinds of more stuff, like how well your meat is. But this is the color we're looking for. This is something that, rotate this one back to the middle. One side is always better than the other. Except pancakes. Both sides are usually bad. I don't know why nobody lets me make pancakes. How could you get that wrong? Anyway, so when you get this done, you remember the magical thing about cast iron is, it stays warm. No touchy handle. So we pick these little guys up and put them one at a time on the green screen chopping block. I would have used a red one, but I had to make fish already. And it wasn't an accident. I just got carried away. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Move around. Pa, 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 pa. So you don't want to use your fingers to hold these. You want to use your spanking spoon. Some people like to use the tongs. However, I don't like how that kind of gets underneath and you can't feel like you're pushing very well. So you just roll the edge of the spoon right there, and that gets you these nice little strips. But remember, this is not quite Chinese food, so we make them smaller. If you hate people, again, with that roommate that you don't like very much, then you cut the meat the wrong direction, and it makes it really hard for them to chew. And you just make sure you put that in the thing on the side that you don't scoop out of. And then when they complain about how bad it is, it's not yours. Shh. Get some bigger chunks. Leave some strips. Make sure it's cooked all the way through. Yeah, it looks pretty good there. Make sure there's plenty of room to work. Fake Deadpool, where did you learn how to chop vegetables like that? A small person asked me just the other day. And I said, the Samurai Delicatessen, small person. And the small person says, oh, there's a Samurai Delicatessen? And I said, yeah. Yeah. He used to have a cooking show on TV a long time ago. And he was in Harlem. And you've never heard of that place, but he was the only guy that was open late. I don't know why nobody ever wanted to rob that guy, but I kind of got the idea that he was friends with my other boyhood hero, Crocodile Dundee. Now this is a knife. Oh, damn it. I almost got them all done. And when you get to the end and you think, oh, I'm done. You're not. You still have to assemble it all. And that's the worst part. The spanking spoon comes into 4 again. We'll just follow this along. Whoop. I'm about to use the spanking spoon one extra time. When you're cooking at home, it's okay to use your fingers. When cooking in a restaurant, it's okay to use your fingers. Just don't pick your nose. Or pick your friend's nose. So, that's pretty much it. All in one pot. It's kind of tough to fold it all over until you scoop some out. So, we're going to remember that we use these bowls for preparations. And we'll just clean all the stuff out of that. Get a nice fat scoop. Oh yeah, that's definitely some green stuff in there. And some red stuff. Yep. Ah, look, and rice on top. And get your other bowl for preparation. You just give it a little bit of finger action. All done. Da, 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 da. Da, ba, da, 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 da. Oh, that one's a snow piece. I'm not spilling those. Now there's plenty of room to give it a stir. Make sure there's lots of action. Helps your flavors blend together. Oh look, that one's got the kale in it. That one's not mine. Raw kale. Ah, that's going to be wonderful for somebody. Not me. I hope somebody likes that stuff. Not me. Oh, got a sticky bit in there. Hate it when the pages stick together. And my rice. That ruins a good book. Coloring book with unicorns. Put that one right there. And this is what it looks like when it's all over. Plenty of room for seconds. Anything that you might want to take to work the next day, in case you've got one of those lovely commutes and a coworker that likes to eat your stuff. You just swap these guys out for those little red rockets. I just giggle a little bit when they steal your lovely lunch. To keep it fresh, you put the lid on there, and to liven it back up, you put some salt in there, or soy sauce, I mean, and that'll put it back to being something tasty. And that is what I like to call combat cooking in the kitchen. Gets it done. Hey, how do you eat with this thing on anyway? I'll figure it out.